I had an uncle that really liked to play video games growing up, that lived in our house. And there was one day that I saw him with his Xbox, his original Xbox, playing Halo Combat Evolved. I had no idea what this game was at the time. I didn't know its reputation. I didn't know what, Xbox was. I just saw my uncle playing this game that looked pretty cool. At some point, it'd be neat to try it at some point if he could. And then it just continued onwards a couple years later when I had some close elementary school friends of mine coming over with their Xbox to play Halo 2. And it's just like, this is an M-rated game, guys. We can't play. Like, that's how young I was at the time. It wasn't until really Halo 3 that I was so consumed by Halo. That was the time that this marketing campaign kicked in, that there was a Super Bowl commercial for, still, in my opinion, one of the best marketing campaigns ever for a game, with its Believe stuff, the live action stuff it did. It was the first midnight launch I went to for any game, period, because of that marketing campaign and the seeds that I mentioned before with my uncle and friends. Even though I haven't been a Halo fan for the full 20 years of the Halo franchise, I still have experienced so much of it between a few books, a few audiobooks, the animated series, all the games, literally all the games, and just, it's a lot. It's a lot that I've been able to consume, and there's even a lot of memorabilia that I have in my room that's just, I always love this franchise, and I'm curious why that is. I will never forget the main menu of Combat Evolved. Halo Combat Evolved, the first game. There's something about the first game of this franchise. When you're introduced to it, you see just the ring that is, that's the title of the game. It's Halo. And the music that seems so different than other sci-fi. It seemed like something so holy that you're about to get into. And that main menu is something that really stuck with me and still sticks with me from Combat Evolved. But also the introduction of the Flood.
There! Mira!
The introduction of the Flood, again, it just subverts your expectations to what you think this game is gonna be. Being, oh, we're just gonna fight aliens the whole entire game, you've been doing that. And then they introduce the Flood in one of the best cutscenes in frickin' game history.
Tartarus, the prophets have betrayed us.
Halo 2 is my least played Halo game, believe it or not. That might be shocking to some, because that's a lot of the gateway for some folks. But for me, the thing about Halo 2 that sticks with me is the story. And a lot of the times, things with great stories, I tend to not replay as much. And that's just because I think Halo 2 does have the best story amongst all the Halos. Bungie went so hard with the Arbiter. The Arbiter became a staple for fans for a reason, because he's at the centerpiece of getting the other side. Like, they didn't have to do that when designing Halo 2, but they did. Instead of just making it, you're playing as Master Chief, you're with the UNSC fighting these aliens, invading Earth. You still do that, but you get to learn the other side. Not necessarily why they hate humanity, you have to go to the books for that, but the Covenant and their lie that is the great journey, and the Arbiter's journey to discover that, and his hero journey. The story is just phenomenal. And that's the thing that I'll always take away from Halo 2. If people get to know me, they know Halo 3 is most likely Tony's favorite game of all time. Like, it just is. There's so much from it that I have a lot of fond memories with, but also the game itself. The marketing campaign is just bonkers to the walls. I could watch it day in and day out. It's such a great, just so many great things came from the marketing of this game. My favorite level in all of Halo history, most likely, the Covenant. The Covenant is just a jam-packed level that gives you such a feeling of finality and uniting with, the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of a thing, and just everything coming together, the Flood, Truth, so much, the Scarabs, I repeat, 2 Scarabs, that moment and so much more. That level is just the peak of Halo, in my opinion, where you get to do everything that the game has to offer, and also Forge and custom games. It is through Forge and custom games that, honestly, that is what made me fall in love with Halo. Because there's just no other game that could do that at the time, I felt like. I truly feel like Halo 3 gatewayed machinima, Forge, really wacky custom game types, and so much stuff that a lot of people were like, we gotta do that. We gotta create, file shares. We gotta create community features. I could go on about Halo 3. There's so much memories I have from it. But the thing that I will always appreciate about it is just that's where I have made some certain friends that I still am friends with today, and Halo 3 was just the beginning of that journey. The streets of New Mombasa from Halo 3 ODST is just something that is, there's just this feel that ODST has above every other one of the games. I boldly say that. Between the soundtrack, the tone, everything about ODST just oozes noir. They wanted it to feel different from all the other Halo games. But the thing that I really was hyped about as a fan was Firefight. I loved Firefight being announced, but man, just the tone of ODST is what I really take away from that game. This is my most valued possession. I don't know if it can show it that well. There is so many autographs on this thing from 343, Bungie, Rooster Teeth. I really gotta clean this glass, man. Holy crap. Halo Reach was the first launch event I ever went to, and there was a lot of bitterness that I remember having about, not like angry bitterness, but just kind of bittersweet, because this was the last game that Bungie, the people that made Halo, were gonna do. And that was a feeling I remember just kind of sticking with me still even today. And deliver hope. There's two things I really remember about Reach, and that is the Deliver Hope live action trailer. That thing is beautiful. I could watch it every day and not get tired of it. And Noble Team in that game. It was a cast of super awesome characters that you are focused on with this squad. And there are other Spartans, and their sacrifices they make, man, that just, it sticks with me. That thing I think stuck with me the most is Noble Team Sacrifice. It doesn't exist currently, but Halo 4 is the founding figure to me having reaction videos on YouTube. I lost it between, I won't explain, but there's like a Halo 4 reaction that I had, and it actually got a good deal of attention on YouTube, and that was kind of the first reaction I ever recorded. But Halo 4, I remember being at school and they announced that, and I was freaking out. I was like, no freaking way. And it's with Chief? No freaking way. And the thing that really just stuck with me after release is Juan and Cortana. That entire game, they really, really went for the feels with Halo 4, even more so than Halo 2. Like, they really focused on the relationship between Master Chief and Cortana, and that is the thing that really, will always stick with me about that game. Halo 5 is literally the reason I have an Xbox One, or had one, I should say, because I was debating, oh no, Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out for PlayStation 4, and Halo 5 is coming out for Xbox One, which one do I get? And then Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming out for Xbox, so I was like, cool, let's go to Xbox. I freaking loved Halo 5's multiplayer, all around, that is the thing I really take away from Halo 5. But if I had to pick one big memory, it is just the Forge and custom games in Halo 5. There is just nothing like it, even in today's standards. Halo 5 makes so many crazy things with its Forge, and it's thanks to the community too. A lot of these times, games with these crazy making features, it is thanks to the community that we have some really dope games. But Halo 5, they just have so much stuff that even if you're not into shooters, you get so into the Forge and custom games. That is, to me, the big thing that I haven't been able to step away. I've been able to play Master Chief Collection, but 5, there's just so much fun you can have in custom games in Halo 5. And that's the big thing I take away from that game. There's a list of other things, though, from the Halo franchise that I really hold near and dear. When Halo Wars was first announced, I thought, amazing, because Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2 was, probably still is, one of my favorite games of all time, and I thought, oh my god, my favorite franchise is getting a real-time strategy like that? Perfect, let's do it. That was a really hype moment for me, and the Fall of Reach book. The Fall of Reach book, I haven't read a lot of the Halo books, there's so many, but that book is just one that I freaking adore. And even Halo Legends, like Halo Legends was this anime series like Star Wars Visions today, and there was one episode in particular, the ODST and Spartan episode. That was so cool to be able to see Halo get adapted and show, you know, a plot line between ODST and Spartans, like this kind of idea, oh, we are both the best at the UNSC, but these Spartans are known to be better. There's so much about Halo that's really just stuck with me over the years. Halo is just this universe that doesn't feel like any other to me. There's something about the art direction, the music, the tone, everything about it. It just has this kind of holy feel that kind of got lost a bit in 4 and 5 in my opinion, but it is coming back. And that original feel that Halo has, there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else that feels like Halo to me. And that's the thing I really love about it. And I'll never be able to forget how this franchise is literally how I have met some of the closest people in my life. And seriously, like through Halo 3 and Reach, especially those two games, and I would say 5 as well, there's just so many bonding experiences I have had with friends that have made me, you know, friends with them. And that is the big thing I won't be able to, you know, not mention when I think of Halo either. Halo 3's marketing campaign was the spark of my love for just marketing in general and cool TV spots, trailers, and stuff like that. Also during that time, machinima was reaching its peak, and Halo 3 machinima is honestly one of the seeds that planted my urge to be a content creator. Halo is my all-time favorite franchise, and as much as I would love to talk about 20 years of Xbox, we wouldn't have had 20 years of Xbox without Halo. Halo is that Mario. Halo is that God of War. Halo is Xbox. And I really I want to thank Microsoft, Xbox, Bungie, 343, and by the gods for giving me and other fans Halo these past 20 years. And I'm looking forward to whatever comes next.